Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and wanted to tell you before we get going in the private group today, we're going to be talking about altcoin season. We're going to be talking about the XRP wallet growth, some other things. If you want to join, there's two ways. One, go to daixrp.com to join through the Patreon, or if you'd prefer, you can click the join button below all these YouTube videos and join through YouTube. You get the full video, including the extra content with no advertising. It's a good thing. Now, I was talking to my father, who is the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, yesterday. I was talking to him about Caleb and Brown. He was asking me about custody and insurance, and he said, well, that's the most important thing. That's what Caleb and Brown offers that I haven't seen anywhere. I agree. That's why I partnered with Caleb and Brown here. This is Jake Boyle from Caleb and Brown, and my understanding is Jake Boyle will be at XRP Las Vegas. He's talking to Jake Claver, and this is the section where he addresses this. This is important.
Banks and banks all around the world for transfers. In terms of cryptocurrency, so we partner with Fireblocks, and we've built a lot of internal products such that every client has unique vaults for every itemized coin. So say you've got XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, three of the major cryptocurrencies out there, and they're probably all set to do quite well, so you really want to make sure your storage is good. Now, your wallets with your LLC with Caleb and Brown are completely unique and isolated from my personal wallets at Caleb and Brown, because I use the service myself. And if I've got an LLC or some form of corporate structure, that's going to be completely separated as well. Now, a lot of clients would go through the personal admin process of making sure the coins are in the right LLC or entity. Your broker will help you with that. We'll make that as seamless as possible. But ultimately, if the coins are stored with us, there's no cost to have it with us. There's no cost to withdraw it. There's no cost to send it back. So you have the liberty any day of the week to choose what you want to do. If coins are with us, the accountability is also with us. And the accountability is to precisely what you're holding. There's no fine print saying, oh, it's the Australian dollar holding of the coins based on the start of the financial year. You see it in bankruptcy courts where it gets a little bit choppy. If a client has 17,000 XRP and 0.2 Bitcoin with us, our liability is for precisely those unit amounts, irrespective of the outcome. Now, we do also have insurance through our partnership with Fireblocks. We've got if you search Caleb and Brown Fireblocks, there's a full link that details it down, like an official statement from ourselves as a company elaborating on that. So if anyone's interested, they can go into the fine details. But the bottom line of it is, if you hold assets with Caleb and Brown, it's completely segregated from other clients. It's completely segregated from our company liquidity. We're not paying our monthly wages and keeping the lights on using a client's Ethereum balance, that's for sure. Unfortunately, you've got to state this clearly in the industry because it's not always the case. And beyond that, if anything goes wrong, it's on us. Nothing has ever gone wrong, and we've custodied assets since 2016.
2016, and here it is, Caleb and Brown secured by Fireblocks. And if you click on, they've got links down here that show you, and it's further reading about Fireblocks meets institutional standards insurance. And then I went to that. Market leading insurance for digital assets in motion. At Fireblocks, we secure our customers' digital assets, not only when these assets are in storage, but also when they're in motion. Applying this philosophy, we created a secure and unique insurance policy that insures user assets, whether they are in storage or in motion, against risk of theft resulting from cyber attacks and internal fraud. Given our commitment to developing a truly secure transfer environment, obtaining a policy of this sort was a natural step for Fireblocks. Their insurance cover, providing leading insurance companies that are AM Best, rated A. So this is this is probably one of the biggest reasons that I decided to not just put a lot of my XRP with Fireblocks, but also, not with Fireblocks, but with Caleb and Brown, but also to the, it's one of the many reasons I chose it, but it's also the insurance, not just the storage. That's a huge thing for me. So I've made it simple. If you want to go and sign up for a Caleb and Brown account, they gave me a certain page, me and Brad Combs, a certain page here on the Caleb and Brown website where it's a special link. What I did is I created a .com, XRPwealth589.com, just so you wouldn't forget it, especially if you're driving down the road. You type that in whenever you get back to your office, and it'll take you straight to our page on Caleb and Brown. Then you can click the sign up today button right there. Okay, check this out from the EZA guys. They're talking about the XRP AMM.
Let me tell you about one of the native primitives on the XRP ledger, auto bridging. You see, here we're at a money exchange, but what if you're trying to swap between two currencies, large amounts, and there's limited liquidity between each one? Well, with auto bridging, essentially what it does is it improves exchange rates and liquidity by using XRP as the bridging token. So essentially what it's going to do is, if you have a look here, you're going to see these different ones. So that's actually a good one. I don't even know really what exactly that currency is, MYR. Let's say I want to do MYR to SEK. What it's going to do is it's going to take MYR, put it into XRP, and then XRP back out to SEK. And that's how the auto bridging feature works.
Okay, now these guys are going to be at XRP Las Vegas. We're like 41 days out now. You better hurry up and get your tickets. This is the new commercial for XRP Las Vegas that's put out, and I think it talks about the guys from EZA. They're running they're providing $25,000 in prizes, I believe, for XRP ledger developers and builders.
The countdown is on to XRP Las Vegas 2025 at the MGM Grand. The markets seem to be stuck in neutral, but positive developments are happening daily. Now is the time to get a better understanding of the evolution of finance and Web3. This is more than a conference. It's a life-changing experience. Go to xrplasvegas.com to get your tickets and see our all-star lineup of industry leaders. Also, builders and developers will have a shot at $25,000 in prize money with the best Web3 project ideas in a Shark Tank-like pitch. We're almost to the finish line. Get your tickets now to the world's largest XRP conference at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, May 30th and 31st. Lock in.
That's right, lock in. Market is boring again today. Nothing going on. So let's move on. Now, I said here the setup's clear. Once the deal with China is reached, the sky's the limit for the U.S. economy. All of this downturn and the market trying to decide what's going to happen and all, this thing's going to happen fast. When you hear a trade
People are worried about allies growing closer to China as a result of your tariffs. And this week we saw Chinese President Xi Jinping visit with 3 of our allies. Should you be worried that they're growing closer?
No.
Will you pick up the phone?
Nobody can compete with us. Nobody.
You said that you have a good relationship with President Xi. Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think
Mr. President?
I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
Do you plan to reach out to him and call him?
I think that you will see we'll make a very good deal with China.
Mr. President?
Everybody has to beat their chest for a little while, and then the deal's made, and everybody saves face. Now, everybody's talking about China, but I believe the bigger trade deal that's going to be worked out is Japan. Japan to kick off tariff negotiations with Trump in Washington on Wednesday. Here's why. Japan holds more U.S. treasuries, almost twice the U.S. treasuries that China holds. And that is a big deal. Guess who's huge in Japan? Remember this video?
So there's over 1,600 cryptocurrencies today that use blockchain. So all of us have probably heard about Bitcoin, some of us about Ethereum. In Japan, almost every bank is starting to work with something called XRP, or you may know it as Ripple. And there's many others.
Almost as if it was all planned. Now, here's Trump talking. He does not like the Federal Reserve chairman. He says keeps calling for Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. And when that happens, folks, and it will happen, watch what happens to the crypto. It'll boom.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave, even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me. Yeah, go ahead.
Man, let me tell you what, you got to love the guy's confidence. Look at this from System Research. They're calling for Bitcoin 370, XRP $37 to $50, which, trust me, I will be thrilled. If XRP hits anywhere close to that, I will be calling up Caleb and Brown today. Hit $37. I dare you, XRP. XLM7, HBAR 4 at Litecoin $500, ETH 7K, Hype, I don't even know what that is. Fartcoin, I could care less. Doge, I could care less. I don't know what XNO is. XRP announces launch of Asia's first XRP tracker fund with Ripple as early investor. And then you had this, Ripple-owned Hidden Road secures FINRA broker-dealer right after Ripple buys them. What a coincidence. Expanding its fixed income capabilities after the $1.25 billion acquisition. And the guys at EZA, they're always right over the target. Hidden Road is about to become one of the first full-service brokerage firms integrated with the XRP ledger. Writing's on the wall, folks. Here's Christine Lagarde from the European Central Bank.
We have a cutoff date, which is October. So October 2025, my governing council has to decide whether we move forward or not. So that's an important date. My strong hope is that by then, the European Parliament has passed the legislation that will support the technological work, the policy work, the unified rule book that we are working on so that we can launch. We have.
All right, and then here she is again. This is when she was head of the IMF. Now, look how things have been positioned, folks. Mark Carney goes to Canada. I mean, it almost appears like chess pieces were moved into place for this great reset.
My last R is reset. We're seeing as necessary going forward a reset in the area of monetary policies. We believe that quantitative easing and the accommodating monetary policies that have been adopted so far should be continued up until such point where growth is well anchored in those economies, and this is not yet the case everywhere. Reset in the sense that once it is well anchored, then those accommodating monetary policies have to be reformulated, have to move either back into their old territories or be more traditional or be maybe of a different kind. And I'm sure central bankers around here will be able to comment on that. But that's first reset. Second reset is the one that Mark is I hope, going to talk about, which is the financial sector reform and regulatory environment that is clearly undergoing a major reset at the moment. And the final reset, which is my last word, Martin, is those structural reforms that are necessary in all corners of the world. Very often people think structural reforms, okay, for some of those advanced economies that have such rigid labor markets. No, it's not just that. And I'm not sure that I would necessarily associate advanced economies with rigid markets, nor would I mark flexibility as the ideal solution for it. But structural reforms are needed in product markets, service markets, but they're also needed in emerging market economies where structural reforms can take a completely different form from those that I've just mentioned. And they have to do with bottlenecks in certain countries, they have to do with proper governance, and they certainly take multiple forms, including that of unleashing the potential that is there, but that is still constricted by a lot of licensing right, protective barriers, and so on and so forth. I've finished with my 3 R's.
Okay, and then we've got this breaking news. U.S. bond giant PIMCO warns U.S. dollars reserve currency status is not guaranteed. The world is starting to become awake. And here's part of what's happening.
It's like if the biggest money in the world, or if the most powerful bank in the world reclassified gold tier 1 in 2019, and we've seen the most sophisticated money in the world and the most well-informed money in the world go on a buying spree for the past 5 years, that being the central banks, and then repatriate it all. And then the United States become a net importer of it. And then calls even from our own senators to revalue the price of gold. And all of these things together in and of themselves are pretty relevant. You know, the U.S. has taken in 60 million ounces of gold since November. Who's buying it all? And they always say it's for a customer. 4 billion delivered by JP Morgan for a customer. Who's that customer? All of these things together are significant, but if you put them together, something big's happening with it, period. And it's blowing through any type of conventional wisdom and technical resistance, where there really isn't any at this point. But I don't know. Silver will have its day too, Mark, but whatever's going on with gold is far bigger than the mainstream is letting on people to believe.
Okay, we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, which is the Patreon. If you'd prefer to join through YouTube, click the join button right below any of my YouTube videos. We're going to talk about altcoin season, XRP, and the XRP wallet growth. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.